You can enhance your relationship by learning your partner's love language and putting it into practice. When you know your partner's love language and let them know yours, it will help you both feel loved, feel seen, and feel appreciated. So let's get into it. Godly Pattern. Welcome to the Godly Pattern Podcast. We exist to champion your relationship and transformational journey so you can live a godly, fun, and free life. Tune in every Thursday and join our tribe of God lovers as we transform together.
I love you, Jesus. I've fallen in love, oh, I love you.
Hey friends, happy Transformational Thursday. It's Coach Lucci here with the juicy, impactful message. And because teamwork makes the dream work, I want to start by acknowledging all my listeners and Godly Tribe members. Indeed, I am so thankful to you all who have reached out to me, liked, commented, and shared this podcast with others. It's just so comforting to see that there are people out there willing to do better and be better, willing to join me on this journey as we keep learning, loving, and transforming together. Last week, I talked about intentionality to combat growing apart. I unpacked what intentionality really means and how you can be more intentional by giving your marriage the attention and effort to help you stay connected and combat growing apart. So this Transformational Thursday, I'm excited to wrap up this segment of the Let's Talk Love series, talking about the 5 love languages and how they relate in relationships, more specifically in a marriage. I think you're going to enjoy this episode so much. If you don't know what your love languages are, I want to encourage you to process this, not just for the sake of giving love to your partner, but to know more about yourself, in order for you to communicate what you need to feel loved. I would encourage you to seek out verified personality tests and take them. In order to get to know yourself better when it comes to marriage, knowing what your partner's love language is definitely is a game changer. So let's talk about it. If you don't know, a marriage counselor by the name of Gary Chapman wrote a book introducing the concept of love languages. Chapman's book, The 5 Love Languages, was first published in 1992. Before writing the book, Chapman began to notice patterns in couples he was counseling. He realized that the couples were misunderstanding each other's needs. That led him to come up with 5 love languages, or ways that people in relationships express love. He proposed that people experience love differently. Dr. Chapman identified 5 categories through which people receive and express love, including words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. According to Dr. Chapman's theory, practicing your partner's language and vice versa can help you to grow closer as a couple. When we know how we experience love and also understand the ways that our partner experiences love, it helps us create a meaningful, healthy, authentic connection. Through Dr. Chapman's clinical work as a couples counselor, he noticed that partners often misunderstood each other's needs, not because they weren't trying to connect, rather they had different ways of expressing and receiving love. So let's get a bit more in depth about what these love languages are. Words of affirmation. This love language consists of encouraging, positive words and verbal or written acknowledgments of love and care. Think compliments and words of encouragement. They can be as simple as "I love you," or more intricate. For example, "I love you and appreciate how much you care for the people in your life," or "I am grateful for you." If your spouse's primary love language is words of affirmation, your spoken praise and appreciation will fall like rain on parched soil. Before long, you will see new life sprouting in your marriage as your spouse responds to your words of love. The next one is acts of service. If action speaks louder than words is your mantra, your love language may be acts of service. For those with this love language, a helping hand makes them feel cared for, or doing something to lighten their load will go a long way. Try unloading the dishwasher, filling their gas tank, scheduling an appointment, or offering to pick up dinner on the way home. If acts of service is your spouse's primary love language, nothing will speak more deeply to him or her emotionally than simple acts of service. One of my godly team members shared a story he heard of a wife who went to a family friend very distraught. She had been married for 15 years, but was very frustrated with her marriage. She didn't understand her husband because every day he would say he loved her, but she complained that he would never do anything to help her. He would just sit on the couch watching TV while she washed the dishes. The thoughts never crossed his mind to help her. She was sick of hearing "I love you." If he loved me, he would do something to help me, she lamented. This is a clear example of someone having acts of service as a love language. Even though her husband loved her, he had never learned to experience his love in a way that made her feel loved. But the story does have a happy ending because the friend intervened and spoke to the husband about love languages. When the husband realized what he was doing, or can I say not doing, he changed how he showed her love and started helping her a lot, which helped their marriage tremendously. The next love language is receiving gifts. It is the thoughts that counts, not the price of the gifts. I've often heard it said. People with this love language appreciate receiving a visual symbol of their partner's affection, especially one that's been carefully selected by the giver. Giving your partner their favorite author's new book or framing the receipt from your first date are both meaningful ideas for those with this love language. In every society throughout human history, gift giving has been perceived as an expression of love. Giving gifts is universal because there's something inside a human psyche that says if you love someone, you will give him or her a gift. What many people do not understand is that for some people, receiving gifts is their primary love language, and for others, it's really not. But for those that love receiving gifts, and that's how they feel loved, it's the thing that makes them feel appreciated, feel loved so deeply. If your partner's primary love language is gift giving, you will make him or her feel loved and treasured by giving gifts on birthdays, holidays, anniversaries, no occasion days. Yeah, I said it, no occasion days. The gifts need not to be expensive or elaborate. It's the thoughts that count. Even something as simple as a homemade card or a few cheerful flowers will communicate your love to your spouse. Little things mean a lot to a person whose primary love language is receiving gifts. Now, to be honest, as a coach, I have met a few people that claim that gift giving is their top love language and they actually want really expensive gifts. So the goal here is to really understand your partner and just love them the way they would like to be loved. Alright, the next love language is quality time. With this love language, what you long for the most is your partner's undivided attention. Someone whose love language is quality time feels most appreciated when others are present, attentive, and mindful. Let me repeat that. Present, attentive, and mindful. That means making your partner feel like they're a priority by turning your cell phone off and not engaging in distractions, making eye contact, sitting close, and using active listening skills to engage with your partner. Some men pride themselves on being able to watch television, read a magazine, and listen to their wives all at the same time. That is an admirable trait, but it is not speaking the love language of one that enjoys quality time. Instead, turn off the TV, lay that magazine down, look into your partner's eyes, and listen and interact. To your spouse, 20 minutes of undivided attention, listening and conversing is like a 20-minute refill of his or her love tank. So be mindful. Men, if you really want to impress your wife, the next time she walks in the room while you're watching a sporting event, put the television on mute and don't take your eyes off her as long as she's in the room. If she engages you in conversation, turn the TV off and give her that undivided attention. You will score 1,000 points and her love tank will be overflowing. Now, the truth is, this may not happen all the time, but sometimes just surprise her. Sometimes just be spontaneous about it. That's really what serving and sacrificing for your partner's love and to appreciate your partner really means. A good example would be a conversation I had with my sister. And I know her, I know that she loves receiving gifts. And when I asked her, what is your top love language? She told me acts of service. And to be honest, I was quite shocked. I said, okay, so what's the second next? She said quality time. I said, no, it gotta be gifts. Because you just love it. Like on her birthdays, she would announce, I hope I get a gift. Or she would tell you all about the gifts she received. I mean, during Christmas, she's just all about the gifts. So I was totally shocked when she said that her top love language was acts of service and the second was quality time. And then she said, well, it's more important to me that my husband spends time with me than for him to give me a gift. It's funny because this was right around her birthday, or on her birthday actually, and he had given her this very nice Givenchy perfume. And then she says to him, well, aren't you taking me out? And he's like, well, I do have to work. She's like, well, you need to plan something. She seemed like she was a bit sad. And then I said, aha. And then she was telling me, well, can you imagine? He told me he has to work and can't take me out on my birthday. And then I asked, but he got you a gift, right? So if he took you out on your birthday and didn't get you a gift, would you appreciate that? She's like, well, if he took me out, I'll probably ask where my gift's at. I'm like, see? I think gifts and quality time is really neck and neck. Or maybe gifts is higher than quality time for you because I know you love receiving gifts. The next love language is physical touch. Do you feel comfortable and secure when you're physically connected to your partner? If so, physical touch might be your primary love language. Members of this group read body language very closely and need intimacy of touch to feel affirmed and bonded. Actions include making an active effort to cuddle, hold hands, kiss, and hug regularly. I said regularly. We have long known the emotional power of physical touch. That's why we pick up babies and touch them tenderly. Long before an infant understands the meaning of the word love, he or she feels love by physical touch. In marriage, the love language of physical touch includes everything from putting a hand on your partner's shoulder as you walk by, touching his or her leg as you're driving together, and holding hands while you're walking, or just random kisses, embracing, and sexual intercourse. If physical touch is your spouse's primary love language, nothing communicates love more than for you to take initiative to reach out and touch him or her. So now, you know your own love language as well as your partner's love language. Now what? To benefit from knowing your partner's love language, it's important to learn how to speak it. As a result, the impacts to your relationship will be invaluable, and knowing your partner's love language can create a strong emotional connection. The popular ethical principle, the Golden Rule, tells us to treat others the way we want to be treated. But when we relate to our partners through our own lenses, we assume that they experience love as we do. we are projecting our own wants and needs onto them. This creates distance and disconnection. It doesn't create the space for our partner to feel truly seen, understood, and loved in a way that is meaningful to them. Instead of treating others how we want to be treated, the 5 love languages encourages us to treat them how they want to be treated. Different people give and receive love differently. If our objective is to show care in our marriages, doing so in a way that is specifically meaningful to them will allow them to receive our love. It also has the potential to reduce frustration and increase connection in the marriage. Tending to your partner's love language has the following benefits. Number 1, empathy increases intimacy. When we engage in behaviors that align with our partner's love language, we're letting them know that they are important to us, and focusing on understanding their needs promotes empathy. It's a selfless expression of love that increases deeper connection. Number 2, it enhances connection. Being curious is the best way to effectively meet our partner's needs. The simple act of being inquisitive helps our partners feel more understood. To put this into action, start asking your partner about their love language and what they need. Number 3, gratitude reinforces our efforts. When we notice our partner making attempts to fulfill our love language, it's vital to recognize and acknowledge their efforts. That's because expressing our appreciation and gratitude is a form of positive reinforcement that makes them more likely to continue those supportive behaviors. The truth is, it is important to note that love languages are not set in stone. Rather, they are malleable. Most people have more than one love language, and they could also change and shift over time. That's because our needs and wants are constantly shifting, and the way we experience, receive, and give love can change too. Our love language can change in response to our age, time in our life, or in response to trauma. Or it can evolve the more we learn, grow, and understand ourselves. While you may identify a primary love language, you may also determine that you have a secondary or tertiary love language as well. Most people really have 3 dominant love languages, and some people may resonate with all of them. As we experience life, different components of our personalities may change or come into focus, which is likely also true regarding our love language. As I conclude, I want to reiterate on something that I think is quite important. While each love language can be expressed in a variety of ways, it is important to establish boundaries around them. If your primary love language is physical touch, for example, that does not necessarily mean you'll always and only want love expressed via sex. Consent is a crucial part of a healthy relationship, and telling your partner, if you loved me, you would do this, is never acceptable. Physical touch could mean holding hands and hugging, just cuddling or canoodling. It could also mean sitting close to each other side by side when eating at a restaurant. Part of learning to speak your partner's love language is communicating about ways to express love that feels right for the both of you. A healthy marriage can be flexible and adaptable. Let me say that again. A healthy marriage should be flexible and adaptable, as the people within it accept that they grow and they change. As with any healthy relationship, communication is key. Talking about love languages and priority shifts shouldn't be a one-time conversation, but rather ongoing conversation that each person feels comfortable bringing up with their partner. Lastly, I want to note that although many people talk about love languages in the context of a committed relationship or marriage, remember that learning and understanding your own love language is an important tool for you to practice self-care. So I just want to pray for someone listening right now. I pray that you will show love and be loved. That you will touch, affirm, gift, spend time, and serve your partner. I pray that you will desire to learn more about how your partner would like to be loved and express it. I pray in the name of Jesus that while you are showing your partner love, you'll take the time to love yourself as well. Amen. I hope you learned something from this episode today. And I believe that you did not stumble on this podcast by mistake. So as you go through your day, please process this information and come up with questions, resolutions, and intentions to do life with God, to live in His freedom, to serve your partner, to communicate effectively, to forgive swiftly, to be intentional with your partner, and to love them with the language they need to feel loved. Just do your best and leave the rest for God. He got you, and He will come through for you. I truly believe that together we stand and divided we fall. So I'm eager to help. I'm eager to know your thoughts and to help you navigate your journey. So be sure to send your questions in and subscribe to the Godly Pattern Podcast YouTube channel and come join me on Faith Talks with Coach Lucci as soon as it premieres. I'm so excited for us to dig deep into your questions together. So do you need a coach or just someone to listen to you? Our godly coaches are here for you, to serve you and help you on all things love and transformation. Just remember to love God, live free, and have fun while doing it. Thank you for tuning into the Godly Pattern Podcast today. I hope something from today's discussion touched your heart in a unique way. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, and send in your questions by going to www.GodlyPattern.com and join the Godly Tribe. Now, my dear friends, remember whose you are according to the Word of God in Genesis chapter 1 from verse 26 to 27. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion." So until next time, go conquer and dominate in love and light.